Hey guys, Janine here with another review for you. Sorry if I sound kind of congested, I'm getting over a cold, but I am here to do another review. Last month, our It's a Wonderful podcast patrons voted for me to watch all the Nightmare on Elm Street films, so I had a lot of fun watching those and doing some reviews on them. So it's November now, so I kind of I did another poll, what would you want to see me watch and review? I put it out there, Thanksgiving horror films, Thanksgiving comedies, the Rocky franchise, because that is a movie that I watched for the first time. That was a franchise I watched for the first time during Halloween. I'm still obsessed with Halloween. I'm still missing my spooky season. That's a franchise I watched during Thanksgiving time for the first time. I watched all the movies in order to prepare to watch Creed for the first time. So Thanksgiving always reminds me of Rocky, so I would have loved to watch the Rocky franchise and review each film. The thing that got the most votes was dysfunctional family movies. I threw that in there because I just kind of have been randomly watching those types of movies, and you know, holiday time, Thanksgiving time, Christmas time, that's the time you kind of get together with your dysfunctional family. And there's a ton of movies out there that I do love that kind of touch on those kind of dynamics. So yeah, people want to hear me talk about dysfunctional family movies, so that's what I'm getting into. So yeah, I will be talking a bunch of different dysfunctional family films all throughout this month. But the first one I'm going to talk about here today is This Is Where I Leave You from 2014, directed by Sean Levy, the guy behind Stranger Things. Yeah, I really love this movie. I don't remember how I found it. I think I was just kind of scrolling through and saw the cast, and I'm like, oh, this is a pretty stacked cast. I'm going to check this out. And it definitely had a lot of fun with it. It's a great comedy, a great kind of sibling dynamic situation. So if you have siblings, you kind of will see some moments that you would have with your own siblings kind of in here. Basically, the story follows Jason Bateman. He is going through some issues in his marriage when he gets news that his father has passed away. So he goes back to his hometown where he's reunited with his siblings and his mom, played by Jane Fonda. He has a sister, Tina Fey. They're the middle children, and then Adam Driver is the youngest brother, and Corey Stoll is the oldest brother. So yeah, they all kind of are going through issues in their own lives. Tina Fey kind of has like a workaholic husband. Jason Bateman's character is obviously kind of going through the issues he's going through in his marriage. Adam Driver, he's dating a much older woman who he invites down here, but he's still kind of flirting with younger women and just acting very young and immature, and he obviously is the baby, so he gets babied. And then Corey Stoll kind of being very uptight and bitter, the fact that he's kind of the one who stayed home and stayed in the town and took over the family business, which is like I think a general store, like a hardware store or something. And then his wife, played by Catherine Hahn, they have been having struggles trying to have a baby. And Catherine Hahn also dated Jason Bateman like in high school. So there's kind of like, that's another added kind of issue there. Ben Schwartzman is in this. He is somebody who grew up with them, but you know, you get the sense that he like tried to tag along and hang out with the brothers, and they all kind of just like didn't want him around. They called him Boner. But now he's grown up and he's like a rabbi now, so he's kind of doing the ceremony for the funeral for the father and trying to be around in a kind of, you know, in a spiritual guidance sense, but they just kind of still make fun of him and call him Boner. So it's really funny. Jane Fonda is the mother, and she is very kind of sexually enlightened and open and just like talk about whatever, and to the chagrin of her children, because I guess when they were younger, you know, she would read their diaries and you know, listen in on their conversations, and she wrote this whole book about their kind of teenage puberty, young sex life exploits in this book. And you know, people, their friends and stuff would obviously read this book, and so it was very embarrassing for them. And she's like gotten a boob job and stuff like that. So their mom is very kind of open, a little more open than they would like her to be. So that kind of adds to kind of the issues going on with the family. So yeah, it's kind of them just coming back to their hometown and having to be honest with themselves and honest with each other about what's actually going on with them in their lives and their dysfunction, because the mother tells them that their father's dying wish is for them to sit Shiva, which is I think a Jewish kind of mourning tradition where Shiva, I think, means seven in Hebrew. So you sit for 7 days and, you know, basically like awake when people come over to the house and bring food and eat and bring their condolences. You do that for 7 days, but the family is like, has their chairs, their Shiva chairs, and they sit there, and then the family kind of will come, people will come in and out and visit, and you do that for 7 days straight. They are all living under the mother's roof. She wants them all together, so they're all there and just in each other's faces. So that kind of just adds to the dysfunction. Rose Byrne is in here as well. She's somebody who had a crush on Jason Bateman when they were younger. Timothy Oliphant is in this. He lives across the street from them, and him and Tina Fey had a romance when they were younger, and they got into a car accident and he was left with some brain trauma, so they ultimately ended up breaking up. She is now married and has a toddler, and you know, but you can feel a sense that, you know, she still holds, they still kind of hold torches for each other. But they couldn't be together because, you know, he had his brain injury and he didn't want to hold her back. So there's this kind of little kind of things happening here and there with these siblings. Jason Bateman, since he's going through troubles in his own marriage, he kind of runs into Rose Byrne, and things kind of strike up with them talking. So yeah, just some very fun twists and turns. Great comedic moments, great honest moments with some of these characters, and yeah, really enjoy this movie. Overall, just great performances. Like, this cast works really well together. They feel very believable as siblings. You have these moments of Jason Bateman and Tina Fey as the middle children kind of being the closest and really kind of the only ones really not afraid to be completely honest with each other and tell each other things that they don't really tell the rest of the family. So I like kind of seeing that bond between the two of them. Adam Driver is just kind of ridiculous. He's hilarious in this movie. You know, I'm the youngest child, so I kind of related to his immaturity in some ways, which I'm ashamed to say. You know, but just the family kind of babying all your nonsense and and you not really developing the skills to be as independent as you should be at the age you're at. I kind of relate to that a little bit. So yeah, definitely some relatable things in terms of the family dynamic if you do have a lot of siblings. And I like that, you know, they're kind of forced together and they're all kind of going through stuff, and they kind of hit this wall of them having to kind of deal with it, and them having to come home and sit this Shiva is actually kind of the push that gives them to really kind of be honest with themselves and be honest with each other about kind of what is going on in their lives, and you know, to try to kind of bring them closer. And even though they kind of bicker and don't get along all the time, just to remember that, you know, they're there for each other in some sense. There's also kind of things with Jason Bateman's character that he has to kind of reconcile his relationship with his father, because there's a moment where they're all going around the table and telling stories about their dad, and when they get to him, he kind of is like, skip me, I don't have a story right now, I can't think of anything. So he, you know, has to kind of reconcile his own feelings towards his father now that he's passed in this experience of being home. So yeah, definitely some more serious emotional moments and some really kind of fun comedic moments, and you know, just how brothers and sisters razz each other and stuff like that. I think it's really well done. Everyone works well together. This cast is so great. And yeah, I really like this movie. I have fun watching this movie. Yeah, this is where I leave you. If you haven't heard of it, I would definitely recommend checking it out. Because yeah, I think I just kind of stumbled upon it, saw the cast that was in it, started watching it, and was really into the story and of this just family coming together to sit Shiva, and how kind of they had to really it forces them to kind of work through a lot of things. So yeah, I would definitely check out This Is Where I Leave You. It is currently on HBO Max if you have it. So yeah, check it out. This will be the first of quite a few dysfunctional family reviews that I'm going to do on the channel. So thank you, patrons, for voting in the poll. And if you want to become a patron and vote in polls like this, you can find us at It's a Wonderful Podcast on patreon.com. We have some really fun tiers, so check it out. And yeah, thank you guys again for checking out this review, and I will see you in the next one.